Well, 2 episodes in, and we've had someone unalived at the end of each episode. Child, buckle up. Well, you know what? I can appreciate the fact that the black characters are not getting unalive first. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole giving you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. And this is my review on Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 3, Episode 2, Flip Mode. A book wild to all my ninjas who don't care. Flip mode. Ah, ah. Shout out to that legend. And for those who know what I just did, put it in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? So, Rock and Neek are eating butter pecan ice cream while they are sucking faces. I still don't know about this couple or this little temporary couple. I mean, they were trying to off each other. Maybe they are, like I said, trying to do a Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but I don't know if they really trust each other yet. So while they're sucking faces and eating ice cream, the mob of men come in with masks on and kidnap them. And then they leave the butter pecan ice cream on the table. Baby, I looked at that ice cream and I said, oh no, violation, violation. I don't play with my butter pecan ice cream. Like I love butter pecan ice cream, especially Bluebell's ice cream. So yeah, so I was just like, this is a sin. This is a travesty. So next we have Marvin and Lou, and they're at the club, and Lou is drunk and he's losing his mind. And Marvin is pretty much the lookout. And one of my favorite songs from the 90s is playing in the background. High Five, I Like the Way. Oh my gosh, that song still is a banger. Oh, I miss the 90s. But Marvin sees there's two white guys staring at them, and he's like, are they the police? Are they mob? Like, who the hell are these guys? So next we see that Tony Danza's character, and again, I just don't know this man's name. I guess I need to do my research and find out what they're calling him, because no one is really saying his name. They're just saying he's the boss in Queens. So he's the one who kidnapped Rock and Neek. And he wants Rock to take out Sal because he can't take out a boss since he's a boss. And he's not asking her, he's telling her, otherwise the 5 families are going to come after her. And so in my prediction video, I said that he's going to be the connection with Rock when it comes to Cartier or when it comes to Sal. And that is the angle, Sal. And a Chris crew member, Jay, shout out to Jay, he also said, look, I think he's going to use Rock to take out Sal. And that's exactly what's occurring, okay? So at that point, Rock is like, I'm out. And he's like, nah, heifer, you in until I say that you're out because you need to do this for me. So back at the club, Lou is losing his mind. He's sitting up there going off on the waiter. Like, he's losing it. He is truly losing it. And I said in my prediction video that Marvin may be the one that goes downhill, but I don't know. Lou at this point is looking like he has lost his mind completely. And so at that point, Marvin ends up leaving to go to the bathroom, and the guys follow him, and Marvin's ready for action. Of course, he got his hammer out. And so next thing you know, they go into the bathroom, talk to Marvin, and come to find out they are consumers of the sugar for the boogers, and they need a supplier for their little night to have some fun. And so at that point, Marvel's like, what the heck I look like because I'm black? Y'all want to automatically assume I'm selling? I mean, I am. I'm about to give you my cell phone number, but at the same time, don't assume. And so he gives him, you know what I'm saying, he gives them his phone number and he leaves. I have a feeling though that possibly this is going to come back to him later because he really doesn't know who these guys are, but I guess he's just assuming they just trying to have a good time. So we see Jukebox at Burke's funeral. And while Howard is there, the audacity, but I guess he has to show face, he's looking real nervous and shifty, and Jukebox sees it. So, this is pretty much the second unalive person for Juke, where Juke has some type of connection with them. So, at this point, it's like she's ready to leave Queens. She's over it. She's like tired of having, that unalive spirit, I guess, around her. But she ends up leaving. She doesn't go into the funeral. She just ends up leaving, especially after she sees Detective Howard. So in the funeral, Howard gets up and speaks at Burke's funeral. Child, talk about the devil standing up to speak. I just was like, wow. And it was actually a good speech, and he didn't flinch. And Burke's father is looking guilty, but at the same time, looking as if he's seeing through Howard. And Burke's girlfriend, or should I say ex girlfriend, she's crying and looking at him like, you son of a bitch. So at this point, we clearly know that the girlfriend is going to say something. So Jukebox is trying to listen to the military. Like I said earlier, she's trying to get out of Queens. She's over it. And they're telling her she has to go through this process. And she's like, look, damn it, what is this flat feet test? You got someone who actually wants to enlist. And you sitting up here telling me I got to go through all of this to enlist. So at this point, she thinks she's had enough. She thinks she's had enough. Burke's girlfriend tries to talk to Burke's father after the funeral, and he says, yeah, I know who you are. I know who you are. And she probably unalived herself because of you. And it's interesting because we clearly know that her father was also a pain in her ass. Like, definitely. He didn't treat her with respect. He didn't look at her as a real cop, just like the other guys that look at her as a real cop, but yet he wants to blame the girlfriend. But again, this is the early 90s, and of course, being gay at that time was still taboo. So of course they wanted to blame everything on being gay. So Kanan and Fame find out that there's these young guys keep coming in and out of the building, and they're like, what is going on? Like, are they selling? What's the issue? And so they find out that they are all working as delivery guys. And Kanan is asking 21 questions to the guy that's hiring these young men. And I already knew right then and there, I was like, he's going to use that service later on. I was like, he's not asking questions because he wants to get hired. He's asking questions because he's going to try to use this business. And so Sal is at home, and one of his guys says the feds are at the house. And so when the feds come in and speak to Sal, they're like, look, you have a target on your back, and you can either cooperate with us or you're gone. And so Sal stays 10 toes down, and he's not snitching. And he's like, look, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're talking about. I have a bowling alley. Like, I'm a legitimate man. You can kiss my ass and you can leave my home. But when the feds leave, you can tell he definitely knows something is up and his time is coming to an end. So Juke gets home and sees that Nicole's father is at her house with Marvin, of course. And this scene was hilarious how you saw two different worlds. You have Nicole's father, who is like a very successful, seems to be white collar guy. Then you have Marvin, this very successful street hustler. And the fact that they are literally interacting with each other and like speaking a different language, but at the same time having similarities for the love of their daughters. So at that point, he's there and he said, hey, there's an audition coming up for a girl group. And, my friend is looking for, girls for the group. And you're an amazing singer. And you should definitely audition. And Juke is like, I'm not singing anymore. And Marvin's like, when did you give up singing? And so at that point, Nicole's father, and he's so sweet, like you can tell he's really trying with Juke. He's a man of his word. When he said he was gonna always be there for her, he meant it. Because even after Juke told him, I am the reason why Nicole is gone, because she took that stuff out of my bag and now she's gone, he's still trying and still trying to connect with her. That's a real man and that's real love. And I think also because he knows that was the closest person to Nicole. So he's trying to make sure that he keeps that connection with her. So at that point he's like, well, look, I'm going to leave the card here. Just think about it or whatever the case may be, and he leaves. He's definitely going to be someone that's going to pop in and out. I think it's some kind of way he's going to help Juke in something. Besides, of course, the girl group situation. So Neek baby's mama, of course, because now he cheating on her. Scandalous. But he comes into the house and she's freaking out. She's like, we need to talk. We need to talk. And so she's like, Neek, I don't feel safe around your brother Ronnie. And Ronnie at the time is like ironing clothes. And so she's like, look, late last night, our son was downstairs and he said that, Ronnie was watching TV. And Neek is like, well, he does that, especially late at night. He likes to watch TV. And she was like, but, bruh, the TV wasn't on. Yeah, he was watching the TV, but there was nothing on the TV. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. Like, we do hear about guys who kind of lose their mind when they're in prison, especially if they're in the hole a lot or whatever the case may be. I don't know if they're trying to show that this season, that he lost his mind while in prison, or something else is going on. But I'm really intrigued to see about Ronnie and his character. Like I said, he gives Brother Mouzone vibes. You don't know what's about to happen with him. So Rock tries to buy her son's love like she normally does. And at first, that house that she bought was really, I guess, supposed to be about Kanan and getting the upgrade in life. And Kanan doesn't even want to stay there. So now she tries to buy him a car. And he doesn't have a license. I think, Kanan is still like 15 years old. But, she's like, look, this is your car. Let's take it for a ride. So while he's driving, he mentions that Burke is, she unalived herself. And Rock, of course, is playing stupid. And she's like, well, hey, it is what it is. And Kanan brings up, it doesn't seem right that she unalived herself. You actually believe that? And then he looks at his mom and he was like Scrap? Like Scrap, you actually believe Scrap unalived himself, Scrappy? And so Rock misses nothing. And she's like, of course, she has sunglasses on, of course. But she's like, look, hey, it happens. People, end up giving up in life. She plays it off. And Kanan is looking at her like, you know what? F this car. If I want a car, I'll buy it myself. Rock feels like she can buy Kanan. Kanan just wants her to be honest and tell the truth. That's his main thing. Like, I would rather for you to be honest with me than for you to keep lying to me and buying me stuff. So at that point, he gets out the car and he's like, F your car, bye. So Howard finds out that there is an organized task force at his precinct due to the unalive mafia guys. So now he feels the heat is about to be on Kanan and Rock more than likely, and him also. So he's freaking out, and rightfully so. I definitely want to see where Howard characters goes. I just feel like eventually he's either going to be unalived himself or he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. So Sal is sitting in his house and he's looking at pictures of his son Marco when he was a baby, and he's reminiscing with his wife. So at this point, this is kind of like his eulogy. This is just what it is. Like, he's, giving his last thoughts before the end happens. And so Rock goes to see Juliana and Hakeem, or Jakeem, whatever his name is. I think it's Hakeem. No? I don't know shit. So Juliana is acting so tough, and I really want to know the angles of where the writers are going with her. She was a damsel in distress, and she was so scared of everything that moved. Now all of a sudden she's this hardcore gangster. I really want to see where they're going with her. But with that, Rock says, I'm done. I'm letting you guys know in person. I'm done. I'm done with the game. And Juliana's like, bullshit. Like, bullshit. Like, at the end of the day, she's probably trying to go to someone else or whatever. And so the cousin is like, look, we wish you well, but if you are willing to get back into the game, you're more than welcome to come back here. Rock leaves, and Juliana is talking all of this mess and pretty much saying, I don't believe her, whatever. And the cousin is like, don't worry about if she's done with us. You worry about if she's done with you. So we know that's going to be something that happens in the future because Rock never forgets, and Juliana played her. So the fact that he says that, and Juliana, her facial expression, yeah, we're not done with Juliana yet. We're not done. So Kanan comes up with the green delivery. Okay, so what goes on now in all the legal states out there that sell green? He's thinking about this in the early 90s, okay? And he wants the delivery drivers that this guy is hiring to deliver his product, all right? And the delivery guy agrees to it, all right? Certain percentage, whatever the case may be. So now he has these people driving his stuff around the boroughs. Now, here's the thing. Do these guys know what's in there? No. So something's about to happen with this situation, and we're either going to see it in this episode, not in this episode, this season, or next season, but something's going to happen. So Lou actually apologizes to Juke for stealing her song and screwing her over. And Juke is actually thinking about auditioning, and she wants Lou to help her. And so Lou gets all excited, and he's trying to make that connection again with his niece, which was a good scene. So we'll see what helping means, because remember, he also told her last season it's about the look more than anything. Hell, it's about the look more so than the talent. So I wonder if she's going to turn into this like in vogue type of girl, just to go out for this audition, which is totally not Juke. That is just not her at all. She tried it with her mother and it failed. So we're in the last scenes, and Marvin goes to Lou to see if Lou will be his lookout for, him having to off Sal. Rock speaks to Marvin in this episode and says, you cannot F this up. You can't miss. If you do this, we are out. We don't have to deal with these, mob guys anymore. He goes to Lou. Lou's like, oh, this is for Rock. Hell no, slams the door in his face. So at this point, he's on his own, and he ends up stealing a delivery truck from the post office and using that, and he ends up turning himself into a mailman. And I think he uses the guy who is that the guy that was in the wheelchair that's now his driver? Y'all let me know, because I think that's the guy that's in the wheelchair that he had an issue with last season, but ended up helping him when he got shot at the end of last season. But this part to me was not realistic, okay? Because one, that you're in a flat out war, and you just literally went to the projects in all sections of Queens and literally lit up this crew. Okay? You lit up this crew. And you mean to tell me that your people and you are not on high alert about someone black in the neighborhood, and you know that church wasn't in no black neighborhood? You mean to tell me that y'all not suspicious just a little bit and checking him just a little bit? It was just unrealistic, in my opinion, for him to get that close. Okay. It would have been more realistic if maybe he was from a distance and, he shot him, because I guess Marvin is supposed to be like the guy, like he's the shooter. So to me, it would have been more realistic if he did it from a distance. But to get that close where he can do a head bang on Sal, I don't know. I just thought it was unrealistic, but that happens. Marvin is able to do his business. He's, very discreet. Next thing you know, luckily, because at first I was like, please do not do this when he has that baby, his grandson, in his hand. But he doesn't. But he's able to get close range and ends up popping Sal in front of his wife at that. Okay. And so that's where the episode ends. Sal and one of his guys is on the concrete in front of the church. All right. And now Sal is gone. He is sleeping with the fishes. So R.I.P. Sal. And so that was the end of the episode. This episode was just okay. I wasn't really impressed with this episode. I would give it a C. Not really a lot going on. We definitely see where it could go. They're dropping little nuggets. Oh, and the fact that, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that Neek ends up meeting with Tony Danza's character, which is interesting, which is why I said I don't know about this relationship between him and Rock. Him meeting up with Tony Danza's character. So yeah, you guys. So what do you think about this episode? Drop your comments below. I give it a solid C. Yeah, it wasn't that great for me. But like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Toodles.